The Walt Disney Company has run out of land. At least that's what the Wall Street Journal is declaring. So it's time to set sail with the Seven Seas. There's just one problem. Will that sink Mickey and his friends? Today, we'll tell you what we think about it and whether or not there's a future of expansion for Disney domestic parks. Hello, folks. It is a beautiful day, and we're happy that you've come our way. Mr. Bluebird is on our shoulder. We hope he's on yours as well. A satisfactual video? Yes, indeed, folks, of pure, unfiltered excellence. Click the like button, and Vash Sky, we've got some surprising statistics coming out of the Wall Street Journal. They suggest that Disney is out of land. What say you, sir?
It's really, really fascinating because we've been talking about this, bro. We've been talking about the issues that Disney has been having, keeping up with the big players in streaming, that being Netflix, that being Amazon, that being all these competitors right here, YouTube, everything else. We've been talking about their dwindling linear assets division and how, well, it's not necessarily nearly as viable as it was in years gone past. We have said that, look, listen, this is really a theme park company. And up to that point, I think Wall Street Journal agrees. What they are talking about in this article here, let me go ahead and get this on screen right now from the Wall Street Journal. Disney's thriving parks are buying it time to figure out streaming. Parks and cruises are helping, but company-wide profit margins are still well below the cable bundle's heyday. That's by Dan Gallagher and Ben Fritz right here.
I love it. Let me tell you this, folks. You don't have time to figure out streaming. Like that ship has sailed. Netflix is so far in the lead, and Disney's never going to catch up. YouTube is ahead of both of them, and Disney's never going to catch up. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to tell you that when a new paradigm comes into being, when a new industry takes place, you either get in front or you don't. And Netflix and YouTube have already taken off. They're battling Paramount Plus at this point. So the idea that the parks are going to give you time to figure it out, no. The parks are subsidizing the fact that Disney is not in the lead there, and they've kind of given up. They've diminished at the box office. So now Disney's leaning on their parks more than ever. The parks are trying to be robust, but these other things have, they've just dusted Disney.
Yes, and Cruise Line is mentioned here specifically because, it's the one real big area of growth within that, especially the domestic segment, but also too just really the park segment as a whole. If you look at, and this goes back to the recent quarter that we just had, Q3 fiscal year 2025, that was just released by the Walt Disney Company. If you look at that, domestic parks just haven't been doing all that well. They simply haven't been. What do you want to say? They haven't had healthy rounds of investment to keep them a thriving entity. Whereas you look at Comcast, and this Wall Street Journal article actually mentions that. You look at Epic Universe, from quarter to quarter, Pro, I don't know if you even know this, but from quarter to quarter, from Q1 to Q2, that was just recently revealed by Comcast. Their theme park segment went up in revenue by 25%. And that was only off of what? Epic Universe being open for like a month in that quarter. It was crazy.
So the problem here for Disney is they have decided that they're not interested, at least they have for the past decade, maybe the last 15 years. They're not interested in increasing the capacity at the parks. Their strategy has been to raise the prices on the parks and then put an artificial capacity on the parks. They wanted the bougies. They wanted the gourmet audience. They wanted the elites of the elites. They wanted the $400,000 annual income and above crowd, and they wanted a global audience to come into Disneyland and Walt Disney World Resort. That didn't happen. The elites are still going to Monaco. They're still going to Martha's Vineyard. They're still going to the places they went before. They're doing their little custom safaris in Africa where they can pet the giraffes. They're not going to Disney the way that Disney had thought they could do. So where is Disney now going to get that capacity increase? Well, Universal's going to theme parks. They're building Epic Universe. But for Disney is increasing capacity on the cruise ships. And the reason that they're increasing the capacity in the cruise ships, but not up until just like yesterday, increasing the capacity in the theme parks, is because Disney has allocated land usage so incompetently at the theme parks, basically blocking themselves in and making it very challenging to go anywhere. And I would say too, Vash, I'm going to be a little critical of them in Disneyland, because Repeatedly, the company had the opportunity to buy property for expansion in Disneyland over in Anaheim, and repeatedly they declined. And I know how hard it is to deal with the folks over there in California and the governments. I get it. But they are just about, I mean, there are very few opportunities. And when they put out these big pieces of concept art that show what Pandora is going to be like in Disneyland, I just laugh at it because I think you all are either so gullible or you're influencers. If you are projecting this and saying, oh yeah, it's going to be just like that, because there's no land anymore. I'm sorry, you can't have something that looks like it's going to be 15 acres fit in a 2-acre spot. It just doesn't do it anymore. So it's because of that incompetence, the way that they ran the theme parks for 15 years. And I'll give you another example, Hollywood Studios at Disney World, right? The one way they had to build out is exactly where they're plopping the Monsters coaster ride. And that blocks any other expansions. I love that they're doing a Monsters ride. I hate we're losing Muppet Vision. But there was a way to do that where you still could keep expanding. And they were like, nope, we're going to block that off now. Every time they do that kind of stuff, what it does is it means that capacity in the future is dramatically more difficult to increase. And the strategy of going for the global elites, it's not going to work. They need capacity. They simply can't do it so easily. And they still haven't learned the lessons, Vash. So it's ships ahoy for Disney. Get out there, Mickey. Build you more ships. The danger is, what if cruise lines suddenly become unfashionable in 10 or 20 years?
Yep.
What if it becomes something that people don't want to do as much? What if the rise of AI and virtual reality, and I know that seems far-fetched and silly and way out there, but what if that makes it be, where you say, well, why am I paying so much money when I can just go in an all-you-can-eat buffet here, in my hometown and check out, these islands that they stop by in VR? Projecting this out, this is a lot of money to spend on something that may not be quite as exciting or as vibrant an industry in future decades.
It's very interesting that you say that, because that was going to be my point, bro. There have been some industry experts out there who are kind of predicting that one day cruise lines might go the way of Vegas, in that it just becomes less desirable. The right now it's got the all-inclusive nature of it. There's a kind of a magic associated with it, and certainly Disney is definitely at the tip of that spear right there. And perhaps because of the quality of their experience that they have provided on the cruise ships, they might be a little bit more insulated than others. But there is kind of a fear that cruise lining just drops off, or you have an issue in which you can actually operate cruise lines, right? We saw during the pandemic how tumultuous that time was for cruise line operators. So I do worry about putting all the eggs in this basket. And I think about how, look, the first 2 ships in the Disney Cruise Line fleet, they are coming up on their expiration date. And so, yeah, you want to go ahead and build even more ships in order to maybe replace those aging vessels. I get that. But there is an extraordinary amount of capital being spent on cruise lining. And it's a very expensive proposition for anybody who wants to engage in this. So I just don't know. I don't know about the long-term sustainability myself. I think the theme parks are a much better option. At the same time, they might think of the theme parks as kind of a legacy option that, hey, you know what? We can invest billions here, only get a certain amount of ROI versus we get, a $1 billion cruise ship and there's an explosive amount of ROI. Kind of why we see a lot of DVCs popping up far faster than we actually get attractions out there in Walt Disney World. It's for those very reasons. It's kind of this what do you want to say? Navigation by spreadsheet, if you will.
Right. Well, and I'm not trying to be negative about the cruise lines. I'm not trying to be negative about DVC. Folks, I know the cruise lines, they have some of the best customer experiences you can find from Disney. And they are the industry standard bearer now. But essentially, they're giant floating hotels with really good food and a few theater shows. It's all about the destinations. The question becomes, as we go down the road, do cruise lines still stay in favor? Are they a fad? I don't know, but it'll be very sad for Disney if that's the case, because as you've said, Vash, they have not continued to invest evenly across their portfolio. They've made the decision to sacrifice theme park growth in order to have this be the place that people go. Will that be wise? I don't know, but that's where they're putting all of their dice. Vash, it's been a great time with you today, sir. You doing well over there in Palm Springs still?
Doing very well. Thank you so much for asking me about that. And we have so much great content here, guys, on That Park Place. Please, if you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. Hit that like button. It really does help us out against the pesky YouTube algorithm. And if you really do like us, go ahead and share us out. That helps us immensely.
Vash, I notice you're not wearing a Hawaiian shirt yet. Come on, man. Let's get on it. Let's do it. Get the umbrella. Come on.
All right, bro.
Folks, this guy, he must own so many black shirts, and I always dress differently, as you all know. I mean, look at me. Every day, it's a different blazer. Vash, we're going to catch people later. It's been a great fun time spending all these videos with you. We've done more this week than in the past, where it's just been me and you, and that's been a real treat. Thank you, Vash.
No problem at all. It is always amazing to host you, Pro. It's just absolutely incredible. You bring such a knowledge and experience of this theme park world. People forget it's WDW, Bro. I know you talk about a lot of amazing stuff in entertainment, but your theme park knowledge is something to be respected.
Well, Vash, I think there's a chance we just might start a YouTube channel, you and I. We ought to do that sometime. All right, folks, that's where we're going to leave it for today. We're going on our way. Keep coming on back to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.